Welcome to this video presentation of my paper entitled Exploring Attachment Patterns Between Multi-Word Verbs and Argument Structure Constructions. The main purpose of this video paper is to provide potential readers with an expanded analysis of the main concepts explored in the article, namely the definition of multi-word verbs as constructions, the role of argument structure constructions in the assignation of clause-level meaning, as well as notions such as embodiment and attachment patterns as key elements of constructional learning. Please feel free to cite this document as follows. Torres Martinez Sergio, 2018, Exploring Attachment Patterns Between Multi-Word Verbs and Argument Structure Constructions, video paper. Central to this paper is the idea that multi-word verbs are constructions, that is, patterns of form and function. The meaning of these constructions combines with abstract syntactic patterns, argument structure constructions in clauses expressing intransitive motion, I went in, or caused motion, I put the book on the shelf. For example, syntactic patterns such as X moved to Z have a meaning that becomes associated with the meaning of the specific verbs. The combination of a verb's meaning with the construction is facilitated by the range of attachment patterns that govern the way constructions link to one another and are learned. The main insight of the present study is that what is learned is not constructions per se, but their attachment patterns to other constructions. As we will see in the next slide, the results of the second course study reveals that multiple verbs usually attach to intransitive motion via argument structure constructions. We can see in Table 12 that the most frequent multi-word verbs in the corpus of contemporary American English are dynamic. This category groups intransitive motion, verb locative, caused motion, verb object locative, and transitive verb object multi-word verbs. Field multi-word verbs are equally distributed between those multi-word verbs expressed in transitional events, e.g. lift off, and systemic processes, e.g. grow up. The most frequent VOL multi-word verbs are causative, while the most frequent VO multi-word verbs contain a lexical verb conveying telic information. Finally, the most frequent stative multi-word verbs are those expressing topographic stance, e.g. sit in. Having a body that affects and is affected by the physical world is an experience that permeates the way in which we conceptualize reality. The relation between body and mind requires an environment in which cognition can be deployed. The nature of the environment determines the relation between the experience of the body, its further coupling with the brain, and ultimately the verbalization of such experiences. The human body experiments a number of constraints in the physical world, usually framed in terms of senses of movement and balance that requires us to first identify which part of our body deals with a given stimulus, the nature of this stimulus, the type of constraint to be dealt with, and so on. Of course, this happens for the most part in an unconscious manner, which doesn't preclude the categorization of these experiences. The senses of barrier and force, for example, filter in through language in terms of both environmental constraining on the body and the opposite action of the experience on the environment. Oftentimes, however, it is the case that our bodies require external objects to counteract gravitational pull, in which case these become extensions of the body, allowing us to conceptualize the experience. This embeddedness, Haugland 1995, Curious 1995, is pervasive and ranges from simple tools to accomplish a task to the sophisticated use of spaces in which cognitive processes take place, e.g. a lab, a classroom, or cinema. These spaces require an agentive dimension in which the participants in an event engage in specific behaviors. In this light, it is clear that the division between brain and body is artificial, since the systems involved in the process are continuous. Language as a subsystem reflects the continuity of senses in the mind by integrating embodied cognitive processes in specific constructions and construction attachment patterns. In contrast to mentalistic approaches, the current rationale claims that body and mind are not separated, which prevents a number of conceptual errors. For example, the idea that language type reveals some fixed underlying ways of recognizing the world. In terms of motion events, they are more sophisticated in some language than in other. The point at which to develop here is that tell-me typologies have often been used and misused as evidence of the superior word hypothesis, and they believe that specific verbs show that language shapes thought. Yet the idea that spatial and kinetic information is conveyed with specific verbs is too narrow to yield reliable results, contributing to expand our comprehension of how mind and language connect. As already noted, much of our representations of the world follow patterns that accommodate and recreate our sensations on the basis of elemental forces and constraints associated with pressure, movement, and balance. These primary senses provide the foundation to specific experiences with path, location, torque, direction, force, or barrier. In particular, balance and movement provide important anchor points for the construction of language at the most abstract level. Then to keep an upright position in space, despite gravitational pull, as well as the ubiquitous experience with movement, has motivated the emergence of specialized abstract emphatic configurations, allowing us to talk about such experiences. Under this view, the embodied decoding process requires some abstract templates that organize the flux of reference objects, emerging in and moving across mental spaces. Arguments are arranged in specified syntactic patterns, e.g. x_y set lock, etc. Shown in Figure 5, a mental space is created simultaneously with the emergence of an event requiring the conceptualizer to reconstruct the location of reference objects. Spatial stages of ASC's constructions working at the interface of thought and language. ASC's link linguistic and non-linguistic content contributes to expand the theoretical strength of construction grammar for the analysis of complex constructions such as modal auxiliaries and conditionals.